topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Good afternoon, South Florida. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where for the last 16 years, we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Our show for the next 25 minutes has become one of our biggest topics throughout the country. 2 years ago, we had a email that said, how come you're not doing a show on neuropathy? I had no idea what neuropathy was, but we delved into it and we found out so many people do not know, even though they probably don't even know what neuropathy is. And we've built on that, and we had so many of you people write us here in South Florida going, how come you don't have a show on neuropathy? Now that I know it's very important, we found what I feel is the best expert in this field, Dr. Andrew Cherry. Good afternoon, Dr. Cherry.
Good afternoon, Steve. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're glad to have you. You know, I know you have people call you all the time and they'll tell you, oh, I'm having numbness or I'm losing my balance. And you find out that they have neuropathy, and not only they have no idea they did, but they didn't even know what neuropathy is. And that's why a show like this is so important. First of all, tell us about your practice.
Yeah, thanks. I am a chiropractor. I've been practicing for 33 years. My office is located in Cooper City, Florida, which is southwest Broward County. We service Broward County, Miami-Dade counties. People tend to want to come to see me when they're having these kind of symptoms with neuropathy in their hands and feet, or one or the other, with the numbness, the tingling, the burning, the cramping, the coldness, the balance issues, so forth. They don't really know what to do. So I'd like to have this podcast because I want to explain to people, the seriousness of this condition and actually the effectiveness of the treatment that we offer. So we help people in my office suffering with chronic conditions like neuropathy, neck pains and back pains associated with arthritis or aging, as well as injuries from sports injuries and car accidents. We handle disc issues. We actually work on trying to restore the body to its natural healing process without the use of any medicine. And our success rate is well over 90% with most conditions.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm getting up there in age. It seems like every day there's another new ache or pain there. Why does aging cause that?
Well, as far as aging goes, the process of us becoming older, unfortunately, with the effects of gravity and the stresses of our lives, if we don't take proper care of ourselves, we're likely to have more of these aches and pains. Even if we do take proper care of ourselves, we can still develop some aches and pains, especially because if we're actually implementing what it takes to be healthy, for instance, exercise, depending on that type of exercise, you may experience some aches and pains from the exercise itself that can aggravate an underlying condition. All most important to understand that prevention is 3/4 of the battle, something that we talk about all the time in the office. And we want to just teach people about how to take better care of themselves so we can reduce those kind of aches and pains and make sure that your quality of life is the best it can be, because you deserve to be functional and healthy and mobile, even into the elderly years.
Dr. Cherry, I think it's amazing what your practice does now. I mean, there's so many new things. It seems like there's new things happening all the time in chiropractic care. And there's times when you can actually keep a person from having to have surgery, which is really amazing. The field of chiropractic has come so far over the years.
Yes, it has. There's new technologies, new modern equipment. I just want everybody to know that as far as chiropractic care goes, the whole idea is to help find what's causing the person's condition and treat the cause. In doing so, we help put the body in a position to heal itself through natural processes, nutrition, exercise, diet, removing interference from the nervous system, which is the actual control center of the whole body. Because you cannot expect to feel normal or function well if your nervous system, the control center, is not healthy. So we remove interference. We promote the components of health, like I mentioned, eating, how to eat right and what is right, what type of exercise is good for that person, how to get proper rest, hydrate, how to keep your nervous system healthy. This is extremely important. We talk about it every day, multiple times, just to remind people that you have to take better care of yourself in order to expect to be functional and feel great.
Well, the two most important questions are, we're talking today about neuropathy. And first of all, what is neuropathy and what causes it?
So the word neuropathy itself means nerve damage or disease of the nerve. And what we're talking about here is the nerves at the ends of your body, the furthest parts, your toes, your feet, your fingers, your hands. And this nerve damage affects these very small, what I call hair-sized nerves. And there's numerous of them. It's like a cobweb or spider web of nerves that allows you to feel things as light as the breeze, as well as sharp as something, well, like a tack. And neuropathy, for the most part, most people develop it from diabetes. It's the number one reason that people develop nerve damage. And then actually behind that, the reason is that this blood sugar damages the inner lining of these very small micro blood vessels and does not allow for the proper blood flow. And that causes a lack of oxygen and nutrients to flow to the covering of the nerve, which is designed to protect the nerve itself and allow for normal nerve conduction. And that leads to other damages in the nerve fibers. It's a very serious, debilitating condition that, when caught in time, can have a serious success rate and definitely improve your quality of life, reducing those symptoms. There are other causes. Chemotherapy can induce nerve damage, autoimmunity, injuries, accidents and traumas, poor metabolic health, meaning that maybe you just didn't do the best job of taking care of yourself, and that has led to this as well. Being overly medicated for a multitude of reasons, and even unknown onset. Sometimes people develop these things. We can't pinpoint why. We will focus on the damage, and we will treat the damage so that people have a very high chance of getting better.
So when a patient comes to your office and they tell you, let's say they tell you they've been having some numbness, been having some unbalance, what is the first thing you do? What do you do, I guess, to check and see if they possibly have neuropathy?
Yeah, so when patients come to my office, we're doing a consultation to discover, what type of symptoms they're suffering from. We review their history and their present state of health, what they're doing if they have a health problem, all the different types of symptoms. And ultimately, I educate patients as to the anatomy of the nerve, because I feel like a patient's understanding of what parts of the nerves are damaged is crucial in making a decision to take the next step into an exam. Once they understand where the damage is what the damage is and what's causing their symptoms, and we explain what the treatment that we offer to improve or correct that damage, they easily want to take the next step and schedule an exam where we wind up using special tools to test the different types of nerve fibers that transmit different sensations back to the brain. There's different types of fibers, such as ones that transmit hot or cold or sharp or vibration, even balance, light touch. And we must test all of those to determine which ones are damaged and overall the level of severity, so we can determine exactly which treatment is necessary for that patient. This is unlike a medical test where it's called an EMG, electromyograph, where these medical offices will hook up some sticky pads electrodes to you and actually shock you and see how well you respond. And I have found, overseeing hundreds, if not thousands of patients, that when the patients have already been to these doctors before they came to our office and told me they had these shocks in this EMG study, in the end, the doctors tend to break out the prescription pad and write them a drug called gabapentin. This is probably the most common thing I hear from all of my patients. And unfortunately, that drug is not designed for nerve damage. It's designed for epilepsy and seizures, to slow down the nerve activity, just to dampen their symptoms. Unlike our treatment, which is designed to actually promote healing to the components of the nerves that are damaged, so you can actually get better without any medication. So we try to educate people about what we do to help them take the step into the exam. And once that happens, most everybody wants to do the treatment and start getting better. And now, usually within the first 3 months of treatment, I would say that patients on the average are at least 30 to 50% improved. And that means that they start telling us that their symptoms are subsiding that much and their life, quality of life and independence is changing. And that's just the beginning. The treatments can be from 3 months to 12 months, and that's based on the exam findings and the level of severity they have. But the success rate is super high because we're treating the damage to the parts of the nerve, such as the very small blood vessels, the covering of the nerve called the myelin sheath, and the nerve fibers themselves, to teach them how to send normal signals and increase healing over the cover so that the nerves can transmit signals in the first place. It's a very effective treatment program.
This is a great text that just came in from Michael and Davey. He said, I am so glad there is a show like this. More people need to watch and learn and get educated. A friend of mine has been treated by Dr. Cherry and is doing very well. I'm trying to get my mother in, Dr. Cherry. What? She will not budge. What can I do to scare her to come in to your office?
Well, we don't really like to use scare tactics overall as a trust issue.
I think she's saying what could happen if they don't get it treated, probably.
Well, naturally, aging and time is going to make this get worse. Reminder that, her nervous system controls her body. And if there's damage to the nerves that make up part of the nervous system, it's not going to go away. It's going to get worse. And, if she wants to continue to live with the quality of life and the level of quality of life she has now, then don't do anything. But if she wants to change her level of quality of her life and keep her independence and be mobile and be happy and actually feel better, then that should be a motivating factor right there. We can't make, what's that saying? You can bring a horse to water. You can't make them drink.
Yes.
In my whole career, people wait till the last minute to be in so much pain they can't move. And then they wind up calling us. And it's just a process of healing. We don't heal overnight. A simple wound takes a few weeks to heal. Now we're dealing with the nervous system, which has a million things to do in a second. And it's one of the most serious things that we take very seriously. And we can only help people that are serious about improving their health and are committed to doing what it takes to help improve their health. It's a process of healing, and people need to commit as far as being accepted by our office for treatment. patients do and must commit to this treatment plan and understand what they need to do. So she needs to be ready.
Greg in Coral Springs wants to know, can restless sleep be caused by neuropathy?
Well, listen, overall, as a holistic non-medical healthcare provider, I have found in treating, well, restless legs or restless sleep, that we need to review your history. We need to review how you're taking care of yourself. It's always going to come back to what food are you eating? How much exercise are you getting? How much rest are you getting? How healthy is your nervous system? And what do you do about de-stressing yourself? So this is something that we would have to look into to be able to answer that question a little better. It's hard to say specifically with restless leg. That is something that's super uncomfortable for people and very tricky to deal with, but we do. And we have great results with patients. Once we find where it's coming from and we get into this lifestyle stuff, then we can make some significant changes.
Dr. Cherry, do you see that neuropathy is any worse at night than in the day?
So yeah, we have a lot of patients that do mention that during the nighttime, whether they're about to get in bed or getting in bed or trying to fall asleep, that their symptoms tend to be flared up. And I attribute that to the fact that at that point in time in the evening when we're settling down, we're not really disrupted or even focusing on our daily activities so much. We're actually trying to wind down. And due to the level of daily activities and just being in the course of the day, when it comes to relaxing, because your nervous system's been stressed all day, and now you're trying to relax, you just become more focused on the pain that you have. It's actually very common, and it's an indicator that something is going on in the nervous system.
I have to give you a compliment. I don't know if many people know this, but I used to be a sports agent. I represented professional football players. And 20 years ago, you would never hear, even if it happened, you wouldn't hear about that a professional football player would go to a chiropractor. I just learned the other day, Dr. Cherry, that every single, not just football, baseball, basketball, every pro team has their own chiropractor. That's amazing.
Yes, it's smart. It just makes sense. And they have their physical therapists,
Yes.
got all their trainers. Why not have a chiropractor that helps optimize their nervous system, which controls all the benefit they get from all the other trainers? I mean, it's something that just makes sense, and I'm glad that that's happening. And I have treated, and I'm currently treating some professional athletes right now because they understand and want to maximize
I am
their
so
health.
happy.
Yeah, it's great.
What about now? Let's talk about poor circulation or blood flow.
Yeah.
Does that do damage to the nerves?
Yeah. So now here we go into some of the nerve anatomy. So these nerves that are very small, hair-sized, are surrounded like a spiral with very small microvessels that bring the blood to the cover of the nerve called the myelin sheath. And the blood carries, as you know, oxygen and nutrients. And these very small vessels need to be healthy to bring the oxygen and nutrients to the myelin sheath. Otherwise, these cells that make up the sheath called Schwann cells, they basically starve from the lack of oxygen and nutrients, and they'll start to stop producing these nerve cells. And that cover, it kind of cracks and becomes old and actually exposes what's under that cover that it's protecting. And those are the nerve fibers. At that point, those nerve fibers go crazy. And that's where you develop many of the symptoms. So, the treatment that we offer is one of the most important parts is improving blood flow. We use a specialized device that helps dilate your existing blood vessels, reduce inflammation within your existing blood vessels, and even creates new small blood vessels. And that process is called angiogenesis. And we use a specific laser that does that. It's painless. There's no side effects. It produces some heat, warmth, And it's super effective in helping restore blood flow because all of our tissues in our body need blood flow to function normal. And if you take that away, your tissues will die. And in that process, it will hurt and be a very serious problem. And so it's crucial that we restore blood flow and improve blood flow. Good question.
I swear, every time I hear about somebody falling now in the shower after doing these shows, I think about, does that person have neuropathy because they lost their balance, possibly? Do you see that happening?
Yeah, balance becomes difficult when these nerves are damaged because part of the nerve fibers that transmit what's called proprioception to your brain, they cannot transmit. And that means that your brain needs to know where your feet are located on the floor or the ground. And if that signal is interrupted, you're going to have coordination issues, including balance issues, which is super prevalent and common upon people that have peripheral neuropathy. And yes, it can get better. In fact, part of our treatment includes balance training in our office as part of the office therapy protocol. It's very serious, very serious. You know, most accidents that happen at home happen in the bathrooms. And if you have this condition, diabetic neuropathy, you know, chemotherapy-induced neuropathy, or just neuropathy in general, it can perpetuate that from happening or to happen. And we would like to prevent that from happening and prevent any falls in that case by treating what's causing that problem in the first place. I have patients that come to my office with walkers, the four-leg walkers, the three-wheeled walkers, wheelchairs. And the reason I say, why are you in that chair? Why do you push that walker? What is the reason? And they tell me, I simply can't stand up. I'm too weak. I have very poor balance. I have fallen before. I want to prevent this from happening. I want to get back to a more normal life. It's a real common concern. And it's something that we focus on very closely to help restore. And we have great results with that. When you treat the damage that's causing all of this, you have an opportunity to get better. So I wish I could help more people. And I appreciate being on this show to help teach people some of this basic information.
We love having you on the show.
Yeah. And I mean, unfortunately,
how do people reach you, Dr. Cherry?
Yeah, you can easily reach me at our phone number, which I believe is scrolling across the bottom as well, at 754-227-9640. We have a website. It's my name, drandrewcherry.com. The doctor is abbreviated. There is no period in there. So drandrewcherry.com. Listen, I have a television commercial that plays multiple times in the day, and I am on social media. You can find us very easily. I have a YouTube channel as well, patient testimonials on how much better they get in such a short period of time. There's a lot of ways to reach us, and we look forward to helping many more people.
Dr. Cherry will be back with us again. And Dr. Cherry, we are so blessed to have you. People, I'm telling you, don't procrastinate. Give Dr. Cherry a call. Get this taken care of. Dr. Cherry, thank you so much. Happy New Year to you, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Same to you. Right back at you.
It's Dr. Andrew Cherry. We're going to go to a break. We'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.